everybody, Edo here, and the good folks at Weird City Games have sent along a copy of Canopy, designed by Tim Eisner with art by Vincent. I've worked with both guys, actually, and they are fantastic. And there was a Kickstarter, I hadn't seen it. They were talking about a review copy, sent it along, and I played it. And this is just a fantastic little game in a really small package. It was so small, the artwork's so big, but the game was so small. I pinged Tim about it. I was like, what? And apparently a big part of this was minimizing the carbon footprint, and this was about Canopy in the rainforest, so that's like a big part of what they were trying to accomplish with this game. The artwork by Vincent on all the cards is just, like, incredible. I mean, not that his artwork isn't always incredible, but, like, as you're playing, it's a set collection game, and as you're playing and you're just looking at the cards, I feel like you're in just awe of what's going on here. In terms of the beauty of these cards. So it just looks fantastic. This is a somewhat, there's some similarities a little bit with Herbaceous, but this is like amped up a longer, deeper game of set collection. What you're going to do, it's a head-to-head two-player game, which I think is fantastic. There's a 3 or 4-player variant, and they give cards for it. I haven't played that. I stuck to sort of what the original version was, but it is on the box listed as 2 players, but there is a solo. There is 3 to 4 players, but I did play it as 2. You are going to have essentially 3 seasons of play. Each season there's going to be a stack of cards. You split all the cards up into 3, and you're going to play one at a time. Is a nice card to like keep a track of that. So you have your deck, and you're going to lay out 3 piles of new growth, 1 card, 2 card, 3 cards. And what happens here is, as a player on your turn, you get to look at the first card. Don't know, and everyone starts with their own little tree trunk, and there's a special card back for those. Anyway, I get to look at this card and I decide, do I want to keep it, or do I want to keep looking? If I decide to keep it, I keep it and I put it into my set collection. If I don't, I put it back. I know what it is, but I put it back. I put a new card on top of it, and I move to the next pile. Now I look at these 2 cards, and I say, this is actually 2 toucans. This is pretty awesome. But let's say I want to keep going. I'm going to leave those behind, because I think as good as 2 toucans are, what is under pile number 3? I go to pile number 3, and I take a look in here, and this pile has a tree extension, and there's this great mechanic where you can like have a growing tree all the way up to the canopy. But it also happens to have some disease and blight in there, so I don't want that. But now I've looked at all the piles. What happens? Well, I get to put that there, and then I take the top card, which happened to be a butterfly or a moth. Harmona mantle. I don't know. I think that might be a moth. Anyway, I'll have to look that up. So, and you're building out your set collection in front of you. There's your trees, which are growing higher and higher, and when you cap them, they are done, and they're worth a certain amount of points, and the canopy is a multiplier. You get to put a cute little animal token on it, and then there's whoever has the longest tree each season gets a special bonus points, and whoever has the most completed trees at the end of the game gets more bonus points. In addition, you're collecting animals. Animals are scored at the end, but can give you special abilities, and you're also collecting plants. Plants get cleared out each season, but have different types of set. You want a lot of them. You want 2, but not 3. All sorts of different plants, and they are all gorgeous as you play. Then there are some negative cards around, disease, blight, that kind of thing. The bromelia is pretty amazing. And there's a lot of cool factoids on it. And a lot of it's about harmony. There's sun and rain. You don't get points for either. But if you have both, you get points, that kind of thing. So you just have a bunch of, your standard sort of different types of sets pressuring you. 1 disease card isn't a big deal, but 2 is. Fires can also damage cards, or drought. But maybe you want a drought because you have too much bromelia, which is bad for your rainforest. So you're like sort of managing your ecosystem as you go. If there are fires and things, you can have the opportunity to draw seed cards, and seed cards just add to your group at the end of your turn. Every season, you'll have used up all these cards. Every single one is on one side or the other between the 2 players, and then you score a bunch of these leaf points. You're going to clear out the foliage, and then the weather, and the plants, and then you'll continue with your animal collection and your growing tree collection. This pile's done, you set it aside, you probably have a discard pile by now, and then you set up the season 2 pile, and you go all the way around. And you do the same thing season 2, same thing season 3. Again, there are a ton of cards. It takes a little while to play. Let's see, this is 30 minutes. I would say minimum. Like, maybe once you're like super, super duper zippy, but there's enough going on that it's playing through a lot of cards. They have, okay, I'll complain. I'm going to complain in a second. But so there are some season cards, which is like a variant you can do. Actually, when I played with the advanced cards in here, like Disease is a standard card, but Blight isn't. The Pitcher Plant, which lets you hide a card underneath it. I don't know where it is an advanced card. There's a whole set of them that you can play with. And then there's obviously the Soul. If I'm going to quibble, one thing I didn't like is like, I didn't see the Kickstarter. I wasn't part of it. I'm not sure. But you get into this weird place where, one, it's a folded rule book, folded white paper. And I don't, perhaps this is part of it that staples have a footprint that's different. But I think you could have just had, I'm not a big fan of a bunch of this personally. But what ends up happening is like there's the main game, and then there's this one, which is the 3 to 4 player game. But I didn't find them to be well labeled. So like no matter how many times I'm looking in here, I'm like, doing a bunch of that, which is just annoying. But then also, I didn't realize going into it that they were advanced cards. So we sort of like dove in the deep end and we're playing with all the advanced cards. In here, on the back of one of these, I mean, this is sort of the experience. This is your card glossary. It's super clear. The game's easy. The cards are clear. I just got frustrated by dealing with this over and over again. But I'm going to assume this was part of them trying to minimize the footprint and being part of the Kickstarter, I'm sure, adding stuff. But this is a really rock-solid step-up 2-player game to add to your collection, right? Like say you play a bunch of Lost Cities, right? That's a 2-player game. This is like a layer up in complexity, but I think in a nice way. And because it's so pretty, it is so pretty. It's got a really good thematic hook that like comes in through the cards, and because you can get Disease and impact the other player, but there's almost no take that. It's really, did you take it or did you leave it for the next player type of take that. It's very low aggression and it's a really nice play. So I love the variant I want, maybe it's in here. I feel like, and I didn't do it, we played it correctly and then we also played it without the advanced cards later. I sort of want to play the 20-minute version, the really fast version of it, but it definitely delivers on that longer card play in a really small package. So I'm pleasantly surprised. This will definitely be staying in the collection, and that is Canopy. Hey everybody, Edo here, and thanks for watching Gaming with Edo. Reviews over here on this playlist, League and Insider videos over here on this one. Subscribe, share, all that good stuff. But most importantly, play some great games. Thanks.